DBSCG things.
What's up, Yuhp gang? It's your boy Tyson, and welcome back to Yuhp DBSCG things. And today we're bringing another very exciting deck profile, guys. This is going to be one that was requested to me through many comments, and I decided to bust it out and take it to my last local and show you guys how it is. With that being said, guys, this is OG Broly. Before we get into the deck, guys, I do want to say if you want to custom mats and or sleeves, absolutely check out Promats, guys. The best place for your custom card needs. The link's in the description as usual. And also on the screen now, you can see that they are holding a monthly tournament via Discord at the second weekend of every single month with some great prizing here. You can come win some Promat mats, TCG medal leaders, and also some booster boxes. So if you guys are interested in this event, go ahead to the description below, go to the Discord, and join it. With that being said, guys, if you guys enjoyed this deck or my content in general, remember to hit all those buttons for me, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a video. And with that being said, guys, let's spin it around and dive in. Alrighty, guys, now here's the deck. Now let's go ahead and get through it. Really quickly, when we're talking about the deck, we're going to talk about the leader first. Permanent on the front side, this card cannot attack battle cards. That's fine, though. We're playing a green deck, and also a lot of skills in this deck are going to be getting rid of board state anyways. Auto when this card attacks, both players choose one card in their hand and discard it. That's really good for the hand destruction aspect. And then also, a lot of your skills rely on getting discarded off your leader or just putting things in your drop area that will be useful later. Really good. Awaken, when your life's at 4 or less, you may draw 2 cards and flip over. On the back side, you retain the same permanent as the front side, except for now your auto is a little bit different. When this card attacks, you draw 1 card first, and then both players choose 1 card from their hand and then 1 card from their battle area and place it in the drop area. That skill there is really good because it doesn't specify battle cards. So if your opponent has like a barrier card on field or no cards on field at all, but like a field card, you can pop the field card. So that is pretty solid. Works really well against Invoker when they have their TOP sitting there and nothing else. So next card we're going to talk about 4 copies of SS3 Broly Saiyan Berserker. All the text on this card basically mean nothing because we're not going to be using any of the skills beside the auto. Auto, when this card is placed in the drop area from one of your leader card skills, you get to go through your deck and grab a Broly's Ring and activate it. So that's one of these 3 copies here. This card has a permanent. It's treated as Broly's Ring in all areas, and then cards in your hand cannot be discarded by your green Broly leader skills. So basically, whenever you're going to attack again after this is in the field, you're not going to be able to discard off it. But this is going to be basically your turn 1 play every single time. You're going to hard mulligan for this so you can get this in the field. Also, when this plays this from the deck, you get to rip up to 2 life. So if you go second and your opponent takes 1 life, as long as you see like one of your 1-drop Paraguses, you can awaken on turn 2. So now that we're talked about these 3 cards, or 2 cards I should say, talk about the super combo. Paragus. There is no reason to play any other super combo in this deck unless you're playing the Bardock variant, in which you may want to play the Vegeta so that you can use the +1 and then play it and then +1 on your unison and pop it. But yeah, this card's just straight up better. You draw 2 and then warp 1 afterwards. More Paragus stuff. We got 4 of the 1-drop Paragus. So like I said, this card is going to really help speed up your awakening because this card says whenever it comes back into play. First off, auto when this card is discarded from your field, you get to replay it. So whenever you swing with the backside of your leader, you basically just target this every single time. You pop it, it comes back into play, and then you get the option to rip up to 1 life. Paragus also has an effect kind of like your leader. Choose one of your green battle card or green cards from your battle area. Other than this card, you pop it and you draw a card. So if this guy sticks on your field, you're basically just going to pop this once per turn and draw a card off it. And like I said earlier, if you go second, you can swing. Or if, like, let's say you go first, you charge, play this, you pass. They don't get rid of it on their turn 1. You go into your turn 2, you swing with this. You discard this, you play this, you rip 2 life. They probably swing at you on their turn 1, so you got 3 cards from your life already missing. You activate this, pop this, you draw a card, you get to rip 1 life, and you're at 4 life to awaken. So not too bad. There's a lot of really cool shenanigans you can do with this card. This card's really good. It's a necessary 4 of in the deck. Next up, we're talking about our Unison package. Let me move this over here a little bit. So Unison package, we got Dark Broly Overwhelming Evil. This card's just absolutely amazing. Once this card gets onto the field, it's basically going nowhere, for it has a +2 effect, which is strong in itself, but also just being a +2 on a 3-drop Unison that's a 20k just makes it almost impossible to kill. It's a double strike. Auto when a marker is removed from this card by one of your skills, or by a skill, not an attack, your opponent has to discard a card from their hand. +2, you may choose 1 card from your hand and then discard it. If you do, your opponent has to choose a card in their hand and discard it as well, and then they choose one of their battle cards and KO it. So basically the +2 on this is quite literally your leader skill. The minus plus minus 0 is okay as well too. So if you're like trying to kill a unison and it's like at its last marker and you're out of attacks, you can just plus minus 0, minus 1 marker off it and kill it. So since we're playing unisons, of course we're playing 3 charismatics. We're playing a turn 3 unison, so I don't play this at 4, but 3 is still fine. Charismatic is charismatic. You're always going to want copies of that. Auto when this card is played, you know, KO 7 or less. KO a 7 or less. Following charismatic, we have 2 Zamusu. You need this card, I feel, when you play charismatic. 1 energy to pop charismatic and then just play it. And also there's a few other ways to set up the 5 cost, but you're almost never going to do that. Like I do for, I play a surprise attack, and that's a 4-drop, and this is a 1-drop, so I can do things like that. But anyways, card's phenomenal. Every single time it attacks, your opponent discards 1 card from their hand. On to some of the defenses. We have 3 Dormant Potential Unleashed. You could argue 4 of this. This card's absolutely amazing, and plus, you're going down to 4 life on like turn 2 most of the time in this deck, or turn 3. 4 is optional. I mean, it could, because you can still play it for 1, and it makes you pitch a card, which it could easily be a Ribran. That's up to you. I like to play 3 or 2. Yeah, 3, and then 2 Shocking Deathball. That's where I'm at this. Negate. I like this one just because it's a hard negate, and it's a sparking as well, and it still KOs 2 costs or less. So I mean, I like the card. Not much to say about that. Sparking negate. 2 Homicidal. This card would be amazing if I wasn't going to 4 so quickly in this deck. And then, like I said, on like turn 3 when I play this and I'm tapping out for it, this card's amazing. But most of the time I'm already at 4, so this is just ripping me to 3. So it's really not amazing, and I can just dorm it instead. So I felt 2 was fine with that card. Next up with our extra cards, we have 2 copy of the 1-star Parasitic Ball. This card essentially is just going to be a 5k and then a pitch target for your skills. But if you need it, you can activate main, place that under a 4-drop, freeze a card, and then go through your hand or deck, I believe. And play a Xeno freeze a 4 cost. That's okay, and I actually do play some of that Xeno stuff, so it can happen and it's possible. The main reason that's in here, though, is for this card. So the trick here, I'm not sure if you guys were playing during Surge days, is you +2, you discard a card from your hand. That's going to be the Parasitic. That triggers your opponent to discard a card and then pop one of their cards as well. Once you do that +2, if they pop one of their cards, you're going to play Freeze a Charismatic. Let me move this. So not only did you just play a free Critical Boy, but they just discarded a card, and then this is in the drop area. And then you used the Demon God Deborah. His activate main is discard this card from your hand, knock 1 marker off your unison, and then go through your deck or drop area and grab a 1 cost or less extra card. You're literally grabbing this almost every single time so that you can just loop the chain and or go up further into the Xeno chain off a Surprise Attack Frieza. So off of Surprise Attack Frieza, we still play 2 of the Dark Infestation. This card's actually really solid too. Not only is it a 15k double striker that you can use to go for game or just pressure unisons or things like that in general, you also have an activate main, so after you do all the work with them, because this does say play it in active mode, you can swing for the 15k crit first. Use this effect, whatever, grab that from the drop, use it. It goes underneath this guy, and then you get to play that guy from the deck or drop area on top of him in active mode. And then you get to swing with him once again for the 15k double strike. Whether they negate or combo out, that's fine. That's going to cost them cards in hand. And then you get to use your activate main, place this card into owner's drop area, and then your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and discard it. That's also going to trigger the auto on this card. So it says, if your opponent has 3 or more energy, when this card is removed from the battle area by a skill or KO'd, add up to 1 green extra card with an energy cost of 1 or less from your drop area to your hand. Most of the time your 1 or less is going to be this, but of course you can still grab Dormant and Shocking. But, so that also just sets up the loop to start it all over again. So I like that chain, it's pretty solid. Next up, for hand destruction package, we play 4 Ribran. This card's actually really solid, so if I whiff on either of these 7 cards and I hit this, I'll just swing lead first turn, I'll discard this, and then you'll discard it, and my next turn I'll just activate it. And then hopefully I've seen that by then, but I literally will just keep doing that over and over again if I have to. But besides Ribran, everyone knows that card tattoo, your opponent discards if you move her from the drop to work. Rosie, we play 2 of that. This card is Deflect, which is pretty important. 15k auto when this card is played, your opponent chooses 2 cards from their hand, discard it, and then gains triple attack for the turn. This card is an amazing unison killer, And also just being able to tax those 2 cards from your hand and then go in for attacks like that is amazing. So we of course played two Rosies. I played 2 copies of the 6-drop Broly. This card is still absolutely phenomenal for closing out games. Your effect on this card will play him for 3 energy. So basically, if your leader card is a green Broly card, you get to tap 3 green energies once per turn. Choose up to 1 green Broly in your hand with energy cost of 6 or less and play it. That's always going to be this card because that's the only version of Broly I play in this deck. When this card is played, you get to choose 2 cards from your opponent's hand and then discard them. That's actually really good for the random pickings. You can snatch Secret, whereas Super Combos negates anything possible. Most of the time when you play him, though, you are ripping the last 2 cards from their hand just to give them 2 more to take 2 more. So anyways, on to the last card of the deck. I do play the Great Ape Bardock. Primal Carnage. I love this secret rare. This is the SCR that I've been using in this deck since I started playing this deck quite a few sets ago. I really love this deck. This deck has been a lot of fun for me. I've done many iterations from it. Like the 2-drop Bardock Unison is also a very, very fun iteration of this deck because all you're doing is spamming 1-drop, searching all the time, and then ripping cards from your opponent's hand. So that's also really fun. But yeah, auto on this card. When you combo with him, he costs 1. You can remove him from the combo area and then choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and then KO it. That's absolutely phenomenal, and it's really good in this deck for the defense because, like I said, you go down to 4 really early, so if your opponent does put out enough pressure to try to kill you with a double strike really early, you can just pop the card and kill it if they decide to dump, and that just helps you in your hand destruction aspect anyways. So, with that being said, guys, this is my Dark Broly build. Or not Dark, OG Broly build with the Dark Broly Unison. Yep, if you guys like it, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I honestly pulled this out because someone in the comments told me they wanted to see the new version that I've been playing, and this is what it is. So if you are watching this, man, I hope you enjoyed this profile. With that being said, guys, we will see you guys next time.